How many lovers have you made today? Chapter 2, Knowing the Differences. Anon is lost in his thoughts as he walks towards the dining hall with Blossom in tow. Neither of them have uttered a single word since they left the gardens. It's not like there's anything to say. For the most part, Anon has been dwelling on what Twilight has asked of him. He can't wrap his head around that mare one bit. Not that he cares to try. Even he can't deny being curious as to why she wants his help, though. A small snort escapes him. He can't allow his curiosity to put him in harm's way. One lapse in judgment could wind up putting him into a situation he'll regret. Anon sets his jaw. This strange turn of events has his mind racing. Why does she want him to help her so badly? Why does he care about what would happen to others if he were to ignore her?
You know, I'm here for you, if you want to chat.
Blossom finally speaks up. He considers her offer. Ever since he and Blossom had opened up to each other about their respective situations, he'd had a very easy time speaking his mind with her. Sometimes even more so than with the sisters. Why am I considering Twilight's offer? Why not just cut her loose completely and ignore her? Blossom chuckles upon hearing that. She and Anon have been getting to know each other a lot more lately, and Blossom freely admits that she enjoys his company. Through their time shared together, Blossom found familiarity with Anon. In many ways, he reminds her of Sweeps, and it's heartwarming to hear him ask things that he would have asked.
Anon? You trust me, right?
Blossom asks. Yeah, Anon says with no hesitation.
We can be honest with one another?
Of course. Anon raises an eyebrow, not knowing where Blossom is going with this.
Anon, I think you hate seeing good ponies get hurt. I believe it's in your nature to protect others, even if you are hurt in the process.
Anon takes a moment to let that sink in. Him? A protector? She must be kidding. Come on, Blossom. Anon shakes his head some. Me, a protector.
Let me ask you something.
Blossom says.
Why is it a far-fetched idea that you protect others?
Anon thought it was apparent, but as he looks over at Blossom, he can tell from her face and the tone that she's serious. Really? I heard everyone I know, Blossom. Bonbon, Lyra. Anon grits his teeth. Even Luna. Just being her friend is enough to make her do stupid things. Blossom recalls their conversation about how Luna spoke with Spike about what Twilight did in Ponyville, and that in turn had forced Anon's hand in making sure Celestia didn't find out about what she did.
She did it
for my sake. Anon interrupts. Sighing, he comes to a stop. That's why I hate it so much. The two of them fall into silence as they stand in the hallway. Neither of them are sure what to say. Blossom wants to tell Anon all about Luna's feelings for him and why she went so far, and yet she can't betray the princess's trust. Even if Anon knew, Blossom has a sneaking suspicion that it wouldn't make him feel at all better.
Anon, do you know how I choose who gets accepted into the Knights?
The perplexity on Anon's face is as good of an answer as any.
I choose them based on pain.
Pain. Anon repeats.
Pain.
Blossom confirms.
Pain is something we all understand, Anon.
Sauntering over to a nearby window, the captain wistfully observes the castle grounds.
Every creature has felt it at some point in their life, and I pick the recruits who have endured the greatest amounts without breaking. I think you can hazard a guess as to why.
Anon maintains a silence, opting to join Blossom in staring out over Canterlot.
Pain is what allows living beings to empathize with those in need of help. Because there was a moment in that being's life where they cried out for help, and no one answered their plea. These are the ones who are ready to drop everything and come running to help their fellows whenever they call.
Anon wishes to scoff, but remains silent. Where were these creatures when he needed help? He was alone for so long, and it was only Celestia that really did any saving back then. Still, hearing how adamant and straightforward Blossom is being is enough to keep him listening.
You have that same mentality, Anon. It's just buried beneath all of your fear. You hate to see good creatures coming to harm, so you weigh any and all options available to reach the best outcome. It's why you pushed your business partners away to save their relationship. It's why you helped Spike and why you're considering helping Twilight now, despite everything she put you through. Because deep down, by helping her, you're helping Celestia, and that means more to you than your own well-being.
Grimacing, Anon returns to peering out the window. It's like Blossom knows just the right words to get under his skin. You're wrong, Anon mumbles. Blossom continues down towards the dining hall.
We all hate ourselves, Anon. It's why we have friends at our side to remind us of the good we have inside of us.
Anon takes a slow breath in as he lets that sink in for a moment. He hates her sometimes. You're not cool just because you say something meaningful and walk away, Anon shouts. Blossom turns back at him with a smirk on her face.
Whatever you say, stud.
The three royal princesses made their way to the dining hall. The three of them have discussed a lot, and Celestia has tried her best to commit everything to memory. What her niece brought to the table has indeed proven insightful, and now both sisters feel as if they have a hoof to lead with. Though Celestia is still flustered by some of these suggestions, such as being more flirtatious with Anon when they are alone, complimenting how he looks, or describing traits that she likes about him. Celestia blushes just thinking about some of them. She has no idea how this will turn out, but it's worth a try. There were also a few other suggestions made, being more playful with him, nuzzling him more often, bumping him slightly as they walk, things of that nature. Cadence suggested going slow with Anon after hearing a bit more about him. She's worried that being too forward would scare him away. Cadence suggested going slow with Anon after hearing a bit more about him. She's worried that being too forward would scare him away. So, no seduction tactics just yet. Those would come later, if all else failed. Cadence did praise her aunts for getting Anon to be more comfortable around them in the nude, even if she didn't fully understand his aversion to the entire thing. All she saw it as was a small step in bringing her aunts closer to Anon. That's another thing. It was recommended that Luna hang back during this process, and prepare herself to successfully form a herd with Anon later. Again, his skittish nature would only harm any chances for a relationship if he felt pressured into one. Luna was willing to accept this, as it was part of the original plan. With the details set, the three of them were much more confident. They still feel butterflies, but at least they no longer feel as ignorant as they were before.
So, we've gone over a lot. I'll give you two some time to digest all this information. If you need to ask me anything, don't hesitate to find me. For now, Shining and I are on our way to take Twilight out for breakfast.
Cadence says with a smile. That's news to Celestia.
Oh, it's nice knowing that my student isn't cooped up in the castle. Is this a regular thing?
Celestia asks.
Not really. It wasn't an easy sell, but she eventually accepted our offer. I want to help Twilight get out into the public a bit more. Maybe it will help with her social problems. That's a nice thought, Cadence. Just try not to push her too far, will you? I know, Auntie, it won't be a problem. I'll see you two later.
Celestia waves a farewell as Cadence walks down another hallway. Luna, for the most part, has kept to herself, something that hasn't gone unnoticed by Celestia.
Luna? Is something bothering you? Just taking a moment to think over what we've discussed.
Luna huffs.
I'll be honest, I am worried that Anon may not be interested in us.
Yeah, that is a doubt Celestia is all too familiar with. It's been bothering her for a while now. Sure, they're friends, but Anon still has a long way to go before he breaks from his shell. The simple act of being naked around another was aberrant to him when he first arrived. So what of dating another species? Celestia knows little about Anon's world and how human society views these things. Not only that, but Celestia is still anxious Anon may accept her advances not out of love, but obligation.
I have concerns as well, Lulu.
Celestia rests her wing on her sister's back.
But we are in this together, right?
Luna stands tall with newfound determination.
Of course, Tia. Together.
That gets a smile from Celestia.
Let's not keep Anon waiting then. I'm sure he's already at the dining hall as we speak. Checkmate,
Blossom says with a cocky grin. Anon is staring at the board with an unwavering gaze. No matter how long he sits there thinking over what happened, he can't figure out how it could have ended this way. Unable to comprehend where he went wrong, he flips the board. He has no idea how she managed to do that for the 10th time. Blossom is like the pony version of Bobby Fischer. "You cheated!" he exclaims. "I don't know how, but I know you did."
Stop being a fool. No need to throw a hissy fit just because you lost.
Blossom's grin remains as she spares the human a sly glance, brushing a stray pawn from her lap.
I guess you're not as bright as you pretend to be. Maybe Go Fish is your type of game.
Anon is shaking in pure rage as he gives her the dirtiest scowl he can muster. This does nothing more than make Blossom giggle. Anon takes a second to calm down a bit, and once he does, he notices the room is still terribly empty. "The sisters are taking their sweet time," Anon mutters.
You worried?
"No, just wondering if I have the time to take a bath before they get here." Blossom looks at Anon with a raised brow and smirks.
Want me to join you?
That makes Anon scoff. "Why even ask? You just watch me like a creeper anyway." Blossom shrugs.
I will admit, I find your anatomy to be rather interesting.
That remark is enough to get a blush from Anon. "Don't get any funny ideas." Hearing that only makes Blossom smirk.
Funny ideas? From the blush on your face, it seems to be quite the contrary. Are you thinking naughty thoughts about me, Naughty?
She teases. "Just, can we change the subject?" Blossom rolls her eyes.
You're too easy to tease Anon.
The both of them go silent for a moment, before Blossom asks,
So, how long do humans last in bed anyways?
Just before Anon can lose it, the door to the dining hall opens. Celestia stands there as she scans over the place. Anon is there at the table with a red face, Luna's captain sitting across from him. A chessboard lays on the floor with all the pieces scattered about as well.
What is going on here? Are we interrupting something?
Celestia asks. Anon realizes that he left a bit of a mess after his last match with Blossom. Things got a bit heated. Anon is about to get out of his seat, but finds that Luna has already picked up everything in her magic, and set it back on the table.
I assume Blossom beat you.
She deduces, approaching the table with a grin. Yeah, pretty much. Anon replies, pretending the loss didn't bother him. Luna giggles at that.
I'm not surprised. I've played against her more than a few times in the past.
Did you ever win? Luna shakes her head with a small smile.
Not once. She's very good at it. Ironic considering I was the one who introduced the game to her.
Blossom gives a short bow.
Thank you for the compliment, Princess.
She gets out of her seat and takes a small step away from the table.
If you don't mind, I'd like to head back to work. I wouldn't wish to disturb your meal.
Celestia can only look between Luna's captain and Anon. She's surprised by how quickly Anon has taken to trusting this pony, but she's happy that Anon is comfortable. Any friend of his is undoubtedly a pony worth getting to know. God, for whatever reason, when Blossom teases, it's just so entertaining. Anyways, let's get on to our jokesters of donators. Top donators are 630, BadassWaffle, Only One Thing, Ceru, Orion, IronSky, and Jessie Smith. Matchvic 109, Darkside Raid, Narwhals, Black Moonheart, Pastel Skies, Austin Rollins, 2 Hex, Sword Brother, Mordred, Omicron, Library, Ruins Life, Nene 52, Will Chris, Twinkie, Rysel, Shadow Moon, Luigi 88, Chancer Crest, Big Smoke 369, Bobcat, GGF, Murder Princess, and many more awesome people. Thank you all so much for watching this video and live life to the fullest.